It is April 17th. It's a Tuesday. My name is Chris Mary Heltman. With me, I have Nick E. Anderson. This is the Wrestling Guild. So, Nick, how you doing?
Doing all good, as always. Actually, I'm doing really good, because, you know, the weather is really, really good now.
Okay.
Like, it's getting...
I have a little bit of a confession to make.
Okay.
Well, you know that we recorded the Lucha Underground versus Impact?
Mm-hmm.
But you remember I lost you? You dropped out? And after that, you never came back. I tried to talk to you, but you can't hear you talking. You can only hear me talking on the recording. So we're going to have to redo that sometime.
Oh, weird.
Anyway, we're talking about Impact Wrestling that was last week, Thursday. How did you like it overall?
Actually, I'm not too satisfied.
You didn't like it that much.
It was quite short. I mean, it was 90 minutes, but it felt like we didn't see that many matches. The matches were like, okay. And
No, I'm going to say that, yeah, there were a couple of things that were, I mean, for a high-rated Impact, as it was, we were talking about that on the lost recording, that it kind of bounced back from being so low to like 290. Now it's like 390 something. So that was, I don't know. Well, let's go through blow by blow. First of all, we had Aries. It was kind of like a flashback to they ended the show by showing Lucha Underground versus Impact, where some of this stuff was taken. So that was kind of like a recap of that. Austin Aries was talking crap about Alberto El Patron a little bit and stuff like that, and the announcement that that everything was going to change. The main event was going to change and stuff like that. And then Eli Drake comes out.
Yeah, he pretty much cuts the promo. He has his
His briefcase?
Not suitcase.
No, his briefcase.
In his briefcase. And he basically says, you know, blah, blah, blah. He's the best guy, and he got the titles, and, you know, he beat Moose, and then the audience is dummies, you know.
And then your boys come out?
Mr. LAX come out, and they start bitching at him and say, you know, he's not really that good.
It was fun to see Conan back cutting one of his classic promos. And they want to know who Drake's tag team partner is going to be. And who is it going to be?
It's Mr. Scott
Steiner.
Scott Steiner.
Yeah, we saw him at Lucha Underground Impact. The big bad booty daddy, Big Papa Pump.
Which
he cuts a promo, he does his crazy promos that he always cuts. He says he's famous.
he says he's famous.
That became a YouTube thing, or a GIF, actually, where it's just like, get out your phone, YouTube. I'm famous, bitch.
But the thing is, you can't really say so much to him because he is really good for the age he is.
And he's famous.
Yeah, he is famous as well. But yeah, but like Conan goes more for like, yeah, you're so old that you can't like hit a banana and something.
It's up to like that. But he was also saying to Eli Drake that Scott Steiner can't be trusted. But Eli Drake calls himself the big bad gravy daddy. And that's basically it. So it's going to be LAX versus Scott Steiner and Eli Drake at Redemption.
Which could be interesting.
Yeah, which is soon.
Which is, soon.
It's like this weekend, Redemption. How do you feel about that?
I'm quite worried, to be honest.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, Mr. Alberto is gone.
But you've got Phoenix and Pentagon.
Okay.
And they just announced yesterday that Drago is going to face Aerostar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, on Redemption?
At Redemption.
Okay. No, that's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all. Then we had Josh and Sanjay at the command center. They announced a new main event at Redemption. It looks like Redemption is going to be actually a really good card. So, Josh leaves to get ready for his match because it's going to be Josh versus Petey Williams.
Oh yeah, with Seidel, right?
Yeah, Seidel at ringside. Yeah. And then we had the GWN moment of the week, which was Jade versus Rosemary, preparing us for Rosemary's Demons Dance match. This was a steel cage match. They kind of build this as red versus blue, because Jade would be dressed in blue a lot or had blue hair. What did you think about this?
We never see like this. What was it called? A ring? No,
steel cage.
Steel cage. We never see like Rosemary be one of those. And Rosemary didn't have makeup on her. Did you see that?
Well, she had that other type of makeup.
Yeah, but you could more clearly see her face.
Yeah, but that was her old Demon's makeup.
That old Demon? This is shit makeup.
But I think, that was when she was a bad guy. And this is before you started watching.
Yeah. I mean,
this is the whole thing with decay and everything like that.
And I don't know if I really the match was okay, but it wasn't really that fast paced.
No, I think that Jade was actually quite a good wrestler, and I do miss her because I think they could have done more with Jade. She left the company for whatever reason, but I feel like she could have done more in the company. But Rosemary and Jade didn't really mesh. They had I think they had like one more match before the feud was over. Rosemary won with the Red Wedding. Then we had actually probably the best match of the evening, apart from maybe I think the main event was pretty good too. Moose versus Sami Callihan, and we talk about how we miss the hard-hitting style, but this was a hard-hitting match.
Exactly.
And I think it's a lot due to thanks to Sami Callihan because he fights a hard match.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool match. It was an awesome match.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of plot twists.
A lot of good back and forth. Sweat was flying. Spit was flying.
And this match went like out of control because you had like some guests coming in.
Yes, OVE came in and took a. Sammy gets DQ'd because he uses a bat on Moose, right? OVE come out and beat Moose, and then Eddie Edwards comes out and beats OVE, or actually he doesn't because he gets beaten up by OVE, and then the lights go out.
And then they turn on, and we have Mr.
Tommy Dreamer, the hardcore legend himself, the innovator of violence.
I have never seen this.
No, well, you're going to have to go your phone, YouTube. He's famous. Tommy Dreamer was a mainstay in a company called ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, that kind of the spearheaded the whole like blood and barbed wire and stuff like that matches back in the 90s.
So like he was the guy who took the first step?
Well, he was one of them. Yeah. Very, very famous. I think you should actually Google some of Tommy Dreamer's best matches. He also had a killer match with AJ Styles in Impact a couple of years ago, where they AJ Styles like poking him in the eyeball with a fork and stuff like that. Yeah.
Is that even wrestling anymore?
No.
No.
It's a good time. Anyway, so it was announced that Tommy Dreamer says that challenges OVE to a House of Hardcore match at Redemption, which is going to be a brutal brawl. House of Hardcore is Tommy Dreamer's company. He runs his own promotion, but he's been in the WWE and he's been in Impact before, so I mean he's...
But do you like when you know what kind of matches that come on Redemption? Like really?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, because I mean, when it's a pay-per-view, I think you have to know. Otherwise, I mean, because pay-per-views are so dependent on, because you need to know what's going to happen at Redemption, because you need the whole story to build. Because we've been talking about that before. Because when there aren't any pay-per-views, what are you building towards?
No, that's true. Yeah.
What are the storylines for if you don't have a place to go? Right,
and you have to tell people what they can actually see.
Yeah,
yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. Then we had Josh Matthews versus Petey Williams, which was a really nothing match. It was a throwaway match.
I mean, there was some good moments where Josh got beaten up.
Josh basically just ran around.
Yeah, I mean, but there were some bits where Petey got him, and it really felt good in my heart. But yeah, I mean, Seidel keeps on disturbing.
Yeah, Seidel interferes, takes out Petey Williams, and they just beat Petey Williams up. And this basically what this is actually Matt Seidel's real heel turn. This is when he really has turned into a bad guy, because he was kind of like an annoying bitch for a while, but now he's a real bad guy.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, it's a DQ.
Yeah.
So that's the second. What? We've had 2 actual matches. Sami Callihan and Josh Matthews versus Moose. Sami Callihan versus Moose. Josh Matthews versus Petey Williams. And both of them were DQs.
This is what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Brian Cage vignette, making sure that he's a badass, so that you know.
Just in case you didn't know.
No. Johnny Impact cuts a promo in the back, an interview where he talks about Congo Kong and Jimmy Jacobs, them always showing up, being little bitches, and what happens?
They're so funny. I mean, he basically talks shits about Kong and Jacob, and then they
talk about what if there's makeup in the jungle.
Yeah, they're like makeup, and where did Kong come from in Mr. Jungle, and but yeah,
I don't know, what jungle do you think Kong comes from? Because I mean, he doesn't come from the African jungle, because he doesn't look African.
I mean, yeah.
Is he like other jungles? I mean, I would say that he's maybe like Filipino looking.
Could be the case, yeah. Most probably, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Are there jungles in the Philippines? I mean, you're an expert on geography and landscaping.
I wouldn't even get an F.
Not even an F. An incomplete. Anyway, yeah, they disturb.
Yeah.
They come in, they interrupt.
Yeah.
And what happens then?
I mean, and basically here he's like, oh, here they come again, uninvited. But basically we get actually a match.
They decide that next week there's going to be a match. Congo Kong versus Johnny Impact. And that's going to be interesting.
And now they're invited. So they can go.
Yeah. Congo Kong's real name is Steven Wilson. So he's not like, he's just like a white dude.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah. Then we had a trios match. Cult of Lee, KM versus Falaba, Tyrus, and Richard Justice. How did you like? Actually, the thing was, I thought that they were going to be beaten up. I mean, I thought that they were going to get
Falaba and Richard and Tyrus.
Well, Falaba and Tyrus, I thought were going to be okay, but Richard Justice, I thought was going to take the shit. But he actually got.
He tried.
Yeah, he tried. It was kind of fun. But I mean, obviously, there's a mismatch here because I mean, KM is the only one that was a viable contender. He's big too, but at Cult of Lee, they're just like too small and scrawny. It didn't really seem like they could actually do anything towards Falaba, Tyrus, or Richard Justice.
That's true.
So it was a weird mix.
But it was a crazy match.
It was a fun match.
It was a fun match.
Falaba gets his first pin in Impact on KM.
Very nice pin. Just sitting on.
Well, it's called like the bonsai drop, and it was made famous by a wrestler called Yokozuna. Yokozuna was his gimmick was that he was like a sumo wrestler. So that was, I mean, he was the world champion and shit.
The ending was really good. I mean, he climbed up the ropes and then just dropped himself.
Yeah.
Splat. Right on KM, and KM, like, basically, dead.
There's a picture of Yokozuna, showing it to you now.
It looks like fun.
Yeah, exactly. That Falaba has kind of, you know, that's what he's kind of done. He's kind of mimicked him. So then we had the main event, which was a Demon's Dance, Rosemary versus Taya Valkyrie. How did you like this?
I mean, I think it was a great match. I mean, they fight it literally. They fought everywhere, here and there,
and it was a lot more brutal than I thought. Because in the beginning, I thought that Taya Valkyrie's shots were kind of weak. But then she goes double knees through a steel chair in the corner. Crap! I thought that Rosemary was dead. I mean, seriously.
Bring that.
That was something. I mean, but because how do you take that shot
and just still
and not? I mean, because I mean the wrestlers, and we know that. I mean, we're not going to protect the business and say that wrestling is real. But I mean, shit happens, and I'm just thinking, like, how do you take that? How do you take that shot?
Really? I mean,
how do you take it? I mean, it's one thing when you're laying between two barbed wire boards. You know you're going to get hurt. You're going to get barbed wire in your ass.
But I don't think that was planned. That hard, that brutal.
I don't know. I mean, Rosemary did look a little worse for wear afterwards. But yeah, no, it was a cool match. A lot of back and forth, a lot of weapons, a lot of pain in the end. And it was... I didn't know what was going to happen in the end there. They were both in the corner, mounted in the corner. And then Rosemary hits a pile driver through the table. It looks like Taya Valkyrie, like they like kind of tumbled over.
and we got to take in consideration that Valkyrie is like a tall and big.
Yeah, she's a lot bigger than Rosemary.
So Rosemary doesn't have the upper hand. I mean, she has the upper hand. So.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it was really good for performance.
Yeah, it was good. So actually, to me, it was like, okay, there was a surprise. There were two surprises: Scott Steiner, Tommy Dreamer. There were two good matches: Demon's Dance and Moose versus Sami Callihan. Even if Sami Callihan versus Moose didn't end anything. But then also you had Falaba, Richard Justice, and Tyrus in a fun game, and I think it's kind of fun that they're pushing Tyrus a little bit here. And that's fun because I think he's a guy who is good and he's intelligent and stuff like that. But I don't think he's even in the WWE. He didn't give much of a push. He was kind of like the funky dinosaur was his deal. Yeah,
funky dinosaur.
The Funkasaurus Rex.
Nice job.
Yes.
Nice job.
Yes, he was Funkasaurus Rex. Yeah, he would dance. That's why they sometimes make fun of him for that. Like EC3 you would do that. Like, come on, Tyrus, dance. Anyway, I would give this a C.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. I mean, the expectations were like this high, and now.
But we're hopefully this Thursday. It's the go home show, the final show before Redemption. So we'll see what happens. I mean, really, the go-home show, the show before a big pay-per-view, has to be because you want to see the pay-per-view. And I think they're doing a lot now for people to want to see because I think people could care less if Scott Steiner is in there. I don't think people are buying any pay-per-views just because Scott Steiner or Tommy Dreamer is there. I think people will be buying pay-per-views because Drago, Aerostar, Pentagon and Phoenix are there.
Matches.
Yeah,
something fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick, that was it for this show. It was a shorter show because just
there wasn't anything.
Stuff didn't happen.
And like in the end, we just had some promos after promo or information here and there.
Yeah.
So I was quite unsatisfied.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to watch some House of Hardcore afterwards. Actually, you can watch House of Hardcore on Twitch.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
man. Watch House of Hardcore 40, which was the latest one.
Okay.
It was the day after Lucha Underground versus Impact in the same House of Hardcore. Yes, don't Google it. You might get some other pornographic site if you just Google it. But yeah, if you go on Twitch, you can see. Anyway, that was it. That for this show, it ended with just a recap of Lucha Underground versus Impact. We don't have to talk about that, but it was kind of fun to watch, them comment afterwards. But yeah, that was it for this show. You can follow us on Stitcher. You can follow us on SoundCloud, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook.
This goes on.
This just goes on. Anyway, so until next week. We might I don't know how we're going to do it because Redemption is on Sunday.
Well,
we'll just have to see what we do. Maybe we'll do a double, like go home on Tuesday, go home and Redemption in one.
That would be good.
Would be good. For Nick E. Anderson, the geographer of note, my name is Chris Mary Holton, and we will see you next week. Peace out.